Guys, for reference, we do have like a cleanup crew going on for, I think, the volleyball game.
Yeah, they just got done.
And they won
game.
tonight.
They did.
And they beat Lovington. So
3-0.
is that a telling thing,
It
possibly?
might be a bad week for Lovington.
I hope so. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to All Sports Best, the podcast. I'm here with Coach Cale Sanders of the Cavemen football team. We're going into week 3. Really excited about this one and excited about this podcast. Thanks for being on once again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Today's podcast is brought to you by CNB Bank. As you can see here on the front of our table, experience over 100 years of trusted banking with CNB Bank, supporting local families, businesses, and community. Your hometown bank where tradition matters. Visit us today. Go Cavemen, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Coach, we're going into week 3. Exciting because we do have a win under our belt now. It's 1-1 record. So I wanted to kind of just get going on, what it looked like at your old high school to get your first win of the year.
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet, right?
Yeah.
I root for those guys. That staff over there is good friends of mine.
Sure.
Like, I want the best for them. I want Goddard to get back to where Goddard used to be, and they'll get them there. Art's doing a great job. Coach Montoya is doing a good job with them. They're real young, but they got them in the right track. They're already, you can see it. The kids are schematically, they're a lot better than they've been in the past. So I'm excited for the Rockets. I tell Art, hey, hope you win every game except one.
Right.
This one. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for Goddard's future because they need to get back into it because football's better when Goddard and Artesia and Ralph Bowyer are all really, really good football teams.
Sure.
It makes that 5A really, really interesting. So,
Yeah.
I'm glad to be out of there with a win. It is really weird being at the Wool Bowl, especially on that sideline because you live, and I've coached there and I've lived on that other sideline. So it's really awkward sitting over there looking at the Wool Bowl and thinking, I've played here, I've scored a touchdown there, or whatever happened right here. So it's a really cool place. It looks a lot different than when I played.
That's what I was going to ask.
It was grass,
totally different? Yeah.
about Bermuda, about that tall. I'm not really sure why we had it like that, but the stadium itself still the same. But
yeah,
a lot of good memories there. So just had another memory there.
Yeah,
just a different shade of blue.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely. So you're on the Cavemen field coming into week 3. We're going to play against Lovington. And that actually, with you bringing up the surface, I always wonder, when you guys show up for games and stuff, do you guys survey the field, get a feel for hey, this turf's a little faster, this turf's a little bit slower or thicker or whatever?
Yeah, if it's the first time we've been somewhere, but we've done 7-on-7s and this kid's been on the Wool Bowl several times, and if we were going to Lovington, we've been on Lovington. We switch off 7-on-7s with both Goddard and Lovington this year. So, the turf it's normal to them.
Okay.
They don't really go out there and be like, oh my goodness, this is fast turf, this is slow turf. So, I don't think those kids, they don't think that deep into it. They're just like, hey, let's go play. Hey, this one's kind of cool. It's blue.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess I look at it because, in baseball, the hops off of the grass is different off the turf.
Absolutely.
In basketball, if the wall's a little bit further back, it changes your depth perception. So, are there any factors in football when you go from one field to another that you're just kind of we have to pay attention to that because it's going to change how you see the field?
Not the field per se, maybe the stadium as far as, like the Bulldog Bowl. It's kind of a bowl, so you don't have to worry about that afternoon sun near as much. We went to Volcano Vista last year, and it was a Saturday game. It was a 2:00 game. It's a concrete jungle. It was just hot. So we had to make sure we were prepared for that and had tents and all that other good stuff, and the water and stuff for the kids. But, yeah, there's little intricacies of each stadium that have its own little – I guess home field advantage, if you want to say that.
Sure. So I had a one-off question for you, and it was, if you could add 1 hour to your day, 1 extra hour to your day, what would it look like?
Ooh. What I want it to look like would be me sleeping.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't get much sleep.
I was going to say you don't.
I don't. I'm up at the field house, 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning, right now it's 10 o'clock, so,
Yeah.
it is what it is. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be probably still at the field house, looking films. But to be realistic, if I had another hour, I'd probably just spend another hour game planning or breaking down film or, in my situation, I have to do a lot of stuff it's not really football related, travel lists and travel plans and getting the schedule set up for Friday night and what time we're going to play this song and what time are they come out. A lot of stuff that people don't really think about that actually occupies a lot of my time.
So you coordinate like music and timing of that?
So we do all that stuff and we make sure they have it up in the booth and they got their stuff that we need to do and then so we have some stuff going on Friday night that we have to have specific timing on certain stuff and it's an orchestra time. When are we coming off the field? When are we coming back on? When the band? Because you got the band, so they orchestrate all that stuff. So we're coming out. So it's not a big what's going on, and people are all, you just show up to a football game and everything looks smooth. But there's some thought and process that goes into making sure everything right.
A lot more.
We're down to the minute on stuff. 6:52 we're out of the locker room. 6:55 we run through the banner. 6:57 we start the national anthem. Like it's to that. It's like to that. And so it's there's a lot of stuff that people don't really. And then all the just the hoopla through the week. Checking grades and there's tons of stuff that I have to do has nothing to do with X's and O's.
Yeah.
So
in New Mexico, what is the grade situation? Like what is eligible? Bare minimum.
Our eligibility requirements are you have to have a 2.0
Okay.
and 0 Fs.
Okay.
So you have to have both. So if you had 0 Fs, but you had all Ds and you're like a 1.875, you're still ineligible. So you have to have both. You have to have 0 Fs and above a 2.0.
Okay.
So,
and a D's a 1, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. B's a 1, C's 2, 3, and you just calculate it divided by how many classes you have. And it's pretty easy. Like you think the kids would be like, oh crap, I'm not eligible. But they know. I run an eligibility report like once a week, and we actually talked about it this morning. It's funny. Every time we pull something up, I talked about it that day. But
right.
I think you got a microphone on.
I do. Something. I got a bug in there for you.
But yeah, so I check grades pretty hard. Like it's a big thing. It's a big part of the program. If they're not going to do what they want, if they're supposed to do in class, and that they're not going to do what I ask them to. And at the end of the day, they're student athletes. It's not athlete students. So you can't have one without the other.
I agree. 45-22. That was the win over Goddard. Sounds like an offensive explosion to me. Tell me about like what the offense did that you saw just maybe make a 180 or at least an increase in value to the team.
Yeah, I would be a little weary about thinking that. We did have 2 special teams touchdowns, so we had a kickoff return and a punt return touchdown. Offensively, yes, we were better, much better. I think the kids were a little more relaxed. I think they didn't go into like they did Artesia with these big eyes, and I honestly think that they were just puckered up.
Yeah.
Like they were scared to do something wrong, and of course that's when things are going to go wrong. I think the kids were real loose. I think they went into the week really, really good, and they had a good idea of what we're going to do. We still, had our boo-boos. Like it wasn't. I wasn't like, oh my God, that's it. We've done what we needed
figured
to
it
do.
out.
Yeah, no, not even close. Which is a good thing and a bad thing. We still got to work on stuff, but I think Kaysen did the same thing he always does. He did exactly what he did against Artesia. He was consistent. I don't forget his numbers. I think it was 14 or 17 for 24, something like that. 65, 66%. Yeah. We kicked it around to 5 or 6 different guys. And that's what we do.
Yeah.
And I think another solid performance out of Case, and our run game still needs to get going a little bit.
Yeah.
And, I mean everyone kind of knows by now, but we lost Ian, and so that's definitely kind of hurt us a little bit.
And how did you lose him? What was the situation?
He broke his collarbone. Yeah, he broke his collarbone against Deming in a scrimmage. So, and it is what it is. So we're just kind of play that by ear and see where that leads us. But right now, we kind of got to go with the round robin of the 3 backs that we're kind of running in and out right now, and each one of them have their own little
strength
quirk that's good. and they all got their weaknesses too. So we're just trying to find ourselves right now in the running game, and it's definitely it's one of those things where we're gonna have to run the ball to protect the pass and vice versa. So we'll get it going. I'm not worried. Coach Norman's doing a great job with those guys. We just gotta just execute our stuff, honestly.
20+ pass attempts?
Yeah, it was 20,
That's solid.
27.
That's really good. That's what we talked about it, I think, last year at the beginning of the year. Like, how are you going to implement, using like a dual threat system type of deal? And you were like, we're gonna get that worked in, and you did it pretty quickly. And this year, even immediately.
Yeah,
so.
it's instant. Like, it's kind of what we do. We're that's an extension of our run game. That the quick game, the outs. Kind of people like say, oh, that's our outside run game is the quick games and bubble games and stuff. But I think we're a little more than that. So yeah, they're doing good. That's what the kids are comfortable with. That's what they know. It's what they've been running since January. But we've just really focused on it, and it's working.
Yeah.
It's people are going to catch on, and people are going to they're going to have answers for our answers, and we're just going to have answers for their answers. So it's that's what I love about the X's and O's and the schematics. What's next? You got to have one or two steps ahead. So.
And that's why you stay up so late. Man.
That's that, or I need to go to the doctor and figure out why I had insomnia.
Sure. Yeah. Special teams, like you said, had a good night. Is there a switch there that we turned on, or is it just kind of like, hey, it was a good matchup, it worked out in our favor last time?
I think special teams is one of those things where we got to treat it like a third of the game, and we do. We spend a lot of time on it, and things didn't go our way special teams wise, and we had some boo-boos Thursday night. I always want to say Friday night, but it was Thursday night.
That's right.
We had a PAT blocked, and we got that corrected. But it just seemed like you keep working at something, and it'll go your way eventually. And it just happened to fall our way. And we've taken a different approach with our personnel on special teams, and you got to get people like Bobby and Evan and those speedsters. We have several of them, that are on our football team that they can hurt you at any moment. So that's kind of what it just finally happened.
Sure.
And it's going to happen again. They're just electric athletes, and with the ball in their hand, who knows what can happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just like, go. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's not okay.
Yeah, that's
work.
Perfect. Yeah.
For sure. All right, so adding an extra day in between games, what did that do for or to the team? Obviously, you came off of a short week. You played on a Friday against Artesia, bounced back on a Thursday, which a day is a lot.
It means a lot.
It does
during the season. An extra day is crucial.
So what about adding that day?
So for us, we used it kind of a rest day, honestly.
Okay.
Because we had kind of grinded through camp, and then rolled right into scrimmage, and then right into week one. Like, we didn't really have a lot of time for those kids just to decompress. It's just like we were pushing. And I think that might have contributed to, the puckeredness of Artesia maybe. I don't know. Who knows it? But we just we said, sleep in. Don't get here till first hour starts. We watched a little film, very little film. And then the coaches, we actually went out of town on that Friday and went and scouted. So we let them go in the afternoon and said, I don't want to see you till Monday morning. And so we just gave them that.
Oh, cool.
Long extended. So basically they got like a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
So, they rested, and Monday they came back, and it was a holiday. So we didn't get them up out of bed at 6:30. I think we started at 8:30. We met for a little while, and then we practiced. So, they got, 4 or 5 days of, hopefully they got some good solid rest.
Yeah.
So Monday was a really good practice. I was pleased with the energy. I think they were ready to rock and roll. So this morning was a little different because it was back to 6:30, and they were kind of shaking the cobwebs a little bit. But no, sure. I just think for us it was rest. It gave us an extra day. It didn't really help us too much as far as scheming, because most of those guys played on Friday night, and we didn't get to film until Saturday morning. But coaches still came up and worked on Saturday.
Sure.
So we did have a JV game on Saturday, so we went to Roswell. JV fought it out hard. It was I think it was a 36-32 or 38-34.
So it was a close.
It was a close game. It was a good game. Yeah, we had our opportunities there, and it was a good job with the JV guys with the little makeshift. Those poor guys, they don't get reps. Like they're scout team dummies. Like then we throw them on a bus and say, run our stuff.
Yeah.
And so they did good. I was proud of them.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so do we have all lower division teams to start off the year? We do, right? There are 3 5A teams in a row.
Yeah.
But they're the best of the best. Two of the 3 are what, top 2 in the state?
Well, if you really get down to it, when we played Artesia, they were ranked number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Goddard, I believe, was ranked 4, 4 or 5, I think, in 5A when we played them. And then now that we got Lovington, since Artesia dropped to Hobbs, Lovington has a number 1 tag. So
crazy.
In 3 weeks, we've played the number 1 team in 5A twice. So it's people might think, it's 5A.
Right.
They're a class smaller than you. We're the smallest, one of the smallest schools, and they're us. And we're
it's
playing
a similar population, right?
Absolutely. There's like I said, we're like 8 guys short of being 5A or whatever.
Yeah.
But that'll never happen, unfortunately.
Sure.
But the fact is Artesia's a really good football team. Lovington's a really good football team. They both deserve that number 1 tag when they have it. And just fortunately they're on our schedule week 1, 1 and 3. So week 4 we'll bump into Cibola. They're a 6A football team, and then after that it's district. So
it's straight into it.
Yeah. So they're 5A, but they're the best of the best in 5A. So
that's actually what I was gonna move into is 5A. Yes, a division lower, but with them being as highly rated as they are, what does that do to your strength of schedule? Does it still say it's 5A, doesn't matter, we're not looking at that?
Or it matters.
It does matter.
Yeah, it's max preps, and Coach Millar would be a great one to talk about.
He
that,
is
'cause he's like a
scientist
you just
about
see,
it.
Numbers and
Yeah.
He's all about that. They were actually already doing playoff predictions this afternoon
for high school.
Yeah, for 6A, like they were.
Wow.
Counting. But Max Preps calculates all that stuff. They have their own formulas. I don't even try to dig into it. I just try to win and let the computer do its part after that.
Yeah.
But there's nothing we can do about strength of schedules or whatever. But
sure.
Yeah, all of that stuff factors in. Head to head, wins versus district champs. Like there's a whole equation that goes into it. But at the end of the day, you got to win a football game.
Yeah,
that's the number 1 thing.
Sure.
So.
Well, and because I've heard different people that it's like it doesn't look too good. Well, but if you think and it's just like you can find. And a possibility
Coach
everywhere.
Miller's like the most positive dude in the world about that stuff.
Yes, he is.
I'm like, there's no way that's no, but if we beat the Dallas Cowboys and it's
right,
like,
exactly.
So he's super positive, but he's always running those numbers and scenarios, and he likes that kind of stuff. But that's not for me.
Yeah, help me understand football for a minute. Lovington beat Hobbs 31-22. Hobbs then went to beat Artesia 44-40 in a team that looked to us like elite. Does that mean that Lovington is like best in the South? Can we declare that, or is that something that's too early?
I wouldn't do that.
Is it matchups?
Yeah, I wouldn't sell that house just yet.
Sure. But because matchups is a big thing in football too, right?
It is.
Strengths
and of course you got to remember these are 16 to 18-year-old high school kids that it's not like it's a computer program or a robot that's that Hobbs team that played Artesia is a completely different football team than that Hobbs team that played Lovington.
Right. Okay.
And vice versa. You could dig into the numbers and all that stuff, that what happened, turnovers and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, the given product on the field is different every single time you show up. And you play in environment, you play in all that other stuff. Just basically the only thing you can predict is that it's going to be different.
Yeah.
It's just the only consistency is it's going to be different every time you step on the field. And that's our goal, is to try to minimize that. But so we'll be different than we did. Hopefully it's better different than, because honestly, the Artesia product I didn't like. The Goddard product I liked better, but I didn't love it. So hopefully I get one that I really, really like.
Sure.
And I save the one I love for a Centennial or Hobbs or something down the road.
Yeah.
So
What are we going to expect? We'll take a quick break really quick. All right. So we're back. Lovington, really good football team. We know that. Obviously, you don't just get ranked number 1 for no reason. And to be able to do what they've done in beating Hobbs. What makes them a good football team this year, though?
there are a lot of things. Lovington is, they got a new head coach, but Lovington's Lovington. It's the Lovington of the old. It's that little small town. It's got a really good community behind them. They show out. Those kids are tough. They're gritty. They'll fight you. A lot of those kids go both ways. They got young guys playing. They got some talent too. Like don't let Lovington fool you. Like there's some dudes on that football team. They got 2 really good ends. I call them defensive ends, but they go both ways. They play tackle, they play guard, they play both on the defensive side of the ball, and they're straight. They're good.
Okay.
If we can't handle them, we're gonna have a long day. But
sure.
They just, even with a new coach, they're just Coach Bailey just took over, and it didn't seem like anything changed.
Okay.
They still,
just a good flow.
They still got the same schemes. They still doing the same offense, same defense. They still it just a change of the name on the card, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But they're used to winning. They were 4A state champions, 4A state champs last year. They expect to win. And that's where we're looking to get with our program. We're not walking into a game hoping. We expect it.
Yeah.
Those kids expect to win. So and that
good.
means a lot. And they got it for sure. So we're gonna have to definitely show up Friday night and take care of our business, or it'll be another Artesia, which I don't want that.
You're right. No, absolutely. Okay, so thinking about Lovington, obviously one of the biggest things that sticks out about Lovington is a guy that used to play there, and Brian Urlacher. I wanted to know your take on this, and is he the most iconic football player to ever come out of New Mexico?
Ooh. Probably.
Is there other people in the conversation?
I think Jim Everett played at El Dorado or some Albuquerque school.
Okay.
I know that. There were some really good college guys. Bobby Newcomb, he was a Highland guy. La Cueva had some guys that went a long way. And, of course, I'm missing a ton of people that, and it just ain't no Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
imagine there might be one somewhere I'm missing somewhere. Well, we got Carlsbad, you got some Hall of Famers, but
Yeah.
He's probably the most iconic. I would say so. Yeah.
Sure.
And he's poured back into that community. I got a lot of good friends from Lovington. My college quarterback was from Lovington.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually really good friends with Brian. So, that's probably it.
Yeah. I know it's early, and based on what we've seen some guys really perform for Carlsbad over the first couple games, to the best of their ability. But is there any players on this team that you can see early that definitely have a solid shot and the potential to play at the next level?
Yeah, we got several. They don't know it yet, or they don't, we got guys that can go, talking young, I think, Colton's got that drive to go play at the next level, and he's got the talent too. He's got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But
he's all over the field.
Yeah, he is.
He's everywhere.
He's got a motor. He's got the size. He's got all the intangibles. He's just got to learn the game a little bit, and he'll get there. He's going to be a stud for us, which he already is. But we got some skilled guys that they're close. What those guys don't understand is, you got that D1 or bust mentality, but that's silly. Those guys are freaks. We don't have a bunch of those dudes, but
yeah,
you can still go and compete and play. To me personally, I think, skill position wise, there's not. There's a definitely difference between D1, D2 type kids, D3 type kids, but to me it's the linemen. That's where the difference is. The monster difference between the D1 kids and the D2, D3 type kids.
Right. No, absolutely.
Because
they're huge. You can't teach that.
Yeah, God doesn't make that many of them. And so when you get somebody like a Tylan that they'll recruit you just based off potential, and they'll turn you into whatever they want to. They got all day. They got nutritionists. They got sports people. They're going to mold you into whatever, and then they got the time to coach you. High school, we don't have that time. I get you for an hour or two, and I can't really control your diet and make you,
You can encourage them.
Yeah,
and that's about all
it's
you
one of
can
those
do.
things. But yeah, so I don't know. I wish that I had a whole bunch of them, like a La Cueva where they're sitting there with 5 or 6 D1 kids that have already committed, probably 2 or 3 more that haven't decided where they're going to go.
Yeah.
But, we just tell our kids, look around. We don't have those kids. We're going to have to freaking outwork those guys. We're going to have to outsmart those guys. We're going to have to be grittier. We have to be tougher, smarter. And unfortunately, sometimes you can do all that, and the Jimmies still get you.
Yeah.
It's unfair sometimes, but it's life. I wish I had a bunch of Jimmies, but we don't. I got what I got, and I love every one of them, and I'll go to battle with our guys any day of the week. But yeah, it's tough sometimes when you're going against. You get schools like that are loaded and they have several of them. But
Yeah.
we like I said, we got some guys that have the potential. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen between now and signing day.
Yeah, for sure.
But we got some guys that to go. I'm not going to say their name because they'll get all big headed and we don't want to do that.
Yeah, for sure. What are we wearing against Lovington, and what is the student section supposed to wear against Lovington?
Oh, you would ask me in the student section.
Oh, you didn't have it? You don't have it?
I have it, but I could look it up. But man, I don't know. We'll have to tell you, and you have to slide.
Okay,
it
I'll
across
slide
the
it in.
screen.
I'll slide it in.
Yeah, so we're blue on blue.
Oh, good.
So
okay.
It'll be. I like the blue on blue. We'll go with the same logo that we've been wearing, but we'll have a different look on homecoming, which I'm kind of excited for.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. We're gonna do some, like I said last week, we're gonna do some homage to some old state championship teams and some old logos and stuff. So that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so we'll be blue on blue, and it'll be nice to be at home. Seems like every game we played as a program, freshman, JV, everything's been on the road. Like they're learning how to travel for sure.
No kidding.
It'll be nice to finally be at home. For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it.
Is there going to be any type of something that we can look forward to, or surprises or anything like that? We know the cannon will be there.
Cannon will be there.
Any type of fireworks? I've seen helicopters come down. What's going on here?
Yeah, we'll have a special delivery of game ball. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So.
But no sneak peek.
No sneak peek.
Okay. Keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
No. Yeah. There's some cool stuff. Yeah. It's like nothing new, but So yeah, it'll be special delivery of the game ball. We'll just say that.
Okay.
Tease it a little bit, I guess.
Sure. All right. Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you very much. Wishing you guys the very best of luck against Lovington. I think this is going to be a solid test.
It's going to be a good one.
We'll be getting ready for homecoming as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
You guys come on out and support us, man. It's the first home game, so let's paint that thing blue and rock and roll. The kids deserve it. They worked hard for it, so come support them.
And get there early because the parking lot is going to be absolutely jam-packed.
Yeah, the construction's still going on.
Yeah.
So it's still a mess. So
exactly.
Get there early. I don't know if there might be some tailgating going on too.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. But
okay.
Usually there is.
All right. So go early. Go check out the tailgate. And a big thanks to CNB Bank for sponsoring the podcast each and every week this week with Coach Cale Sanders. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Appreciate it.